Joins in SQL. Joins are really important when you have to deal with data that is present on multiple tables. I'll help you understand the basics of joins and make you learn the different types of joins with hands-on demonstrations on MySQL Workbench. So let's get started with what are joins in SQL. SQL join statement or command is often used to fetch data present in multiple tables. SQL joins are used to combine rows of data from two or more tables based on a common field or column between them. Now consider this example where we have two tables, an orders table and a customers table. Now the order table has information about the order ID, which is unique here. We have the order date, that is when the order was placed. Then we have the shipped date. This has information about the date on which the order was shipped. Then we have the product name, which basically is the names of different products. We have the status of delivery, whether the product was delivered or not, or whether it was cancelled. Then we have the quantity, which means the number of products that were ordered. And finally we have the price of each product. Similarly, we have another table called customers, and this customer table has information about the order ID, which is the foreign key here. Then we have the customer ID, which is the primary key for this table. We also have the phone number, customer name and address of the customers. Now suppose you want to find the phone numbers of customers who have ordered a laptop. Now to solve this problem, we need to join both the tables. The reason being, the phone numbers are present in the customers table, as you can see here, and laptop, which is the product name, is present in the orders table, which you can see it here. So using a join statement, you can find the phone numbers of customers who have ordered a laptop. Now let's see another problem where you need to find the customer names who have ordered a product in the last 30 days. In this case, we want the customer name present in the customers table and the last 30 days order information, which you can get from the order date column that is present in the orders table. Okay, now let's discuss the different types of joins one by one. So first we have an inner join. So the SQL inner join statement returns all the rows from multiple tables as long as the conditions are met. From the diagram above, you can see that there are two tables, A and B. A is the left table and B is the right table. The orange portion represents the output of an inner join, which means an inner join returns the common records from both the tables. Now you can see the syntax here. So we have the select command and then we give the list of columns from table A, which you can see here is the left table, followed by the inner join keyword and then the name of the table, that is B, on a common key column from both the tables A and B. Now let me take you to the MySQL Workbench and show you how inner join works in reality. So here I'll type MySQL. You can see I have got MySQL Workbench 8.0 version installed. I'll click on it. So it'll take some time to open. Okay, I'll click on this local instance and here I'll give my password. Okay, so this is how an SQL editor on MySQL Workbench looks like. So first of all, let me go ahead and create a new database. So I'll write create database. This is going to be my command, followed by the name of the database, that is going to be SQL_joins. If I give a semicolon and hit Control Enter, this will create a new database. You can see here one row affected. Now you can check whether the database was created or not using show databases command. If I run it, here you can see I have SQL joins database created. Now I'll use this database, so I'll write use SQL_joins. Okay, now to understand inner join, consider that there is a college and in every college you have different teams for different sports such as cricket, football, basketball and others. So let's create two tables, cricket and football. So I'll write create table and my table name is going to be cricket. Next, I'm going to create two columns in this table. The first column is going to be cricket ID. Then I'm going to give the data type as int and use the auto increment operator. I'm using auto increment because my cricket ID is going to be my primary key. Then I'm going to give the name of the students who are part of the cricket team, and for this I'll use varchar data type and give the length as 30. I'll give another comma and I'll assign my cricket ID as primary key. Within brackets I'll give cricket underscore ID. Cricket ID is nothing but a unique identifier for each of the players, like you have roll numbers in college. Okay, let me just run it. Alright, so we have successfully created our cricket table. Similarly, let me just copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll create another table called football. This will have the information of all the students who are part of the football team. And instead of cricket, I am going to give this as football ID. Alright, and the name column will have the names of the students. I'll change my primary key to football ID. Alright, let me run this. Okay, so now we have also created our football table. The next step is to insert a few player names into both the tables. So I'll write my insert into command. First, let's load some data to our cricket table. So I'll write cricket and I'll give my name column followed by values, and here I'll give some names such as, let's say, Stuart. I'll give another comma. The next player I'll choose is, let's say, Michael. Similarly, I'll add a few more. Let's say we have Johnson. The fourth player I'll take is, let's say, Hayden. And finally we have, let's say, Fleming. Okay. Now I'll give a semicolon and run this. Okay, so let me just check if all the values were inserted properly. For this I'll use select star from table, that is cricket. If I run it, you can see I have created a table and have successfully inserted 5 rows of information. Now similarly, let's insert a few student names for our football table. So I'll change this to football, and obviously there would be students who will be part of both cricket and football team. So I'll keep a few repeated names. Let's say Stuart, Johnson, and let's say Hayden are part of both cricket and football team. Then we have, let's say, Langer, and let's say we have another player in the football team, that is Astle. I'll just run it. Okay, you can see there are no errors. So we have successfully inserted values to our football team as well. Let me just recheck it. I'll write select star from football. Alright, so we have 5 players in the football team as well. Okay, now the question is, suppose you want to find the students that are part of both the cricket and football team. In this case, you can use an inner join. So let me show you how to do it. So I'll write select star from cricket, as I'm using an alias name as C, which stands for cricket. Then I'm going to write inner join. My next table is going to be football as F, which is an alias name for the football table. Then I'm going to use the on command or operator, and then I'll give the common key, that is name here. So C dot name is equal to F dot name. So based on this name column from both the table, my inner join operation will be performed. So let's just run it. There you go. So Stuart, Johnson and Hayden are the only 3 students who are part of both the teams. Alright. Now you can also individually select each of the columns from both the tables. So let's say I write select c dot cricket underscore id, comma c dot name, comma f dot football underscore id, comma f dot name. From, I'll write cricket as C, inner join football as F, on C dot name is equal to F dot name. Now if I run this, you see we get the same output here as well. Alright. Now let's explore another example to learn more about inner joins. So we have a database called Classic Models. Let me first use Classic Models. I'll run this. Okay. Now let me just show the different tables that are part of Classic Tables. Alright. So here you can see there are tables like customers, there's employees, office, there's office details, orders, payments, products and product lines as well. Alright, so let me use my select statement to show what are the columns present in the products table. Okay, so this product table has information about different product names. You have the product code. Now this product code is unique here. We also have the product vendor, a little description about the product, then we have the quantity in stock, buying price and MSRP. Let's see what we have in product lines. If I run it, you see here we have the product line, which is the primary key for this table. Then we have the textual description for each of the products. This is basically some sort of an advertisement. Alright, now suppose you want to find the product code, the product name and the text description for each of the products. You can join the products and product lines table. So let me show you how to do it. I'll write my select statement and choose my columns as product code, then we have product name, and let's say I want the text description, so I'll write this column name. Okay, then I'll use from my first table, that is products, inner join product lines, I can use using the common key column, that is product line. Close the bracket, I'll give a semicolon, and if I run it, there you go. So you can see the different product codes, then we have the different product names and the textual description for each of the products. So this we did by joining the products table and the product lines table. Alright. Now suppose you want to find the revenue generated from each product order and the status of the product. To do this task, we need to join 3 tables, that is orders, order details and products. So first let me show you what are the columns we have in these 3 tables. We have obviously seen for the products table. Now let me show you for orders and order details table. So I'll write select star from orders. If I run it, you can see it has information about the order number, the date on which the order was placed. We also have the shipment date. We also have the status column, which has information regarding whether the order was shipped or cancelled. Then we have some comments column. We also have the customer number who order this particular product. Similarly, let's check what we have under order details. So I'll write select star from order details. If I run it, you can see it has the order number, the product code, quantity of each product, we have the price of each product, then we have the order line number. Okay, so using the product orders and order details, let's perform an inner join. So I'll write select O dot order number, comma O dot status, comma I need the product name which I'll take from the products table, so I'll write P dot product name. Now here O, P are all alias name for the tables, orders, products, and I'll use OD for order details, comma since we want to find the revenue, we actually need to find the product of quantity ordered into price of each product. So I'll use a sum function, and inside the sum function I'll give quantity ordered multiplied by the price of each item. I'll use an alias as revenue. Then I'll use my from clause, from orders as O, inner join order details as I'll use an alias name as OD, on I'll write O dot order number is equal to OD dot order number. I'll use another inner join, and this time we'll join the products table. So I'll write inner join products as P on P dot product code is equal to OD dot product code. And finally I'll use the group by clause and group it by order number. Alright, let me run this. Okay, there's some mistake here, we need to debug this. It says you have an error in your SQL syntax, check the manual. Alright, okay, I think the name of the tables is actually orders and not order. Alright, now let's run it. Okay, there's still some error. It says classic models dot product doesn't exist. So again, the product name is, the table name is products and not product. So let's run it again. Alright, there you go. So we have the order number, the status, the product name, and the revenue. This we got it using inner join from 3 different tables. Now talking about left joins, the SQL left join statement returns all the rows from the left table and the matching rows from the right table. So if you see this diagram, you can see we have all the rows from the left table, that is A, and only the matching rows from the right table, that is B. So you can see this overlapped region, and the syntax for SQL left join is something like this. So you have the select statement and then you give the list of columns from table A, which is your left table, then you use the left join keyword followed by the next table, that is table B, on the common key column. So you write A dot key is equal to B dot key. Okay, now in our classic models database we have 2 tables, customers and orders. So if you want to find the customer name and their order ID, you can use these 2 tables. So first let me show you the columns that are present in customers and orders. I think orders we have already seen. Let me first show you what's there in the customers table. Okay, so you can see we have the customer number, the name of the customer, then we have the contact last name, the contact first name, we have the phone number, then there's an address column. There are 2 address columns actually. we have the city name, the state, and we have other information as well. And similarly we have our orders table. So I'll write select start from orders. So I'll write select star from orders. If I run this, you can see these are the information available in the orders table. Okay, so let's perform a left join where we want to find the customer name and their order IDs. So I'll write select c dot customer name, or let's say first we'll choose the customer number, comma, then I want the customer name, so I'll write c dot customer name. Then we have the order number column which is present in the orders table, and let's say I also want to see the status. Then I'll give my left table, that is customers as C, left join orders as O on C dot customer number equal to O dot customer number. Let's run it. Okay, again there is some problem. Alright, so the table name is customers. Let's run it. So there's another mistake here. This is customer number, so B is missing. Cool. Let me run it. Alright, so here you can see we have the information regarding the customer number, then the respective customer names, we have the order number and the status of the shipment. So if I scroll down, you'll notice one thing, there are a few rows you can see which have null values. This means for customer number 125 and for this particular customer name there were no orders. And similarly if I scroll down, you will find a few more null values. You can see here there are two null values here. For customer number 168 and 169 there were no orders available. Alright, now to check those customers who haven't placed any orders, you can use the null operator. So what I'll do is here I'll just continue with this. I'll use a where clause and write where order number is null. Now let me run this. Okay, so here you can see there are 24 customers from the table that don't have any orders in their names. Okay, now talking about right joins. So SQL right join statement returns all the rows from the right table and only matching rows from the left table. So here you can see we have our left table as A and the right table as B. So the right join will return all the rows from the right table and only the matching rows from the left table. Now talking about the syntax. So here you can see we have the select statement. Followed by the select statement, you will have the list of columns that you want to choose. From table A, right join table B on the common key column from both the tables. Alright. Now to show how right join works, I'll be using two tables, that is customers and employees. So let's see the rows of data that are present in the customer table first. So I'll write select star from customers. Let's run it. So here you have the customer number, the customer name, then we have the phone number, the address of the customers. You also have the country to which the customer belongs to, the postal code, and the credit limit as well. Similarly, let's see for the employees table. Here I'll change customers to employees. Let's run it. Okay, so we have the employee number, the last name, the first name, we have the extension, the email ID, the job title, and also reports to here means the manager. Okay, so based on these two tables, we'll find the customer name, the phone number of the customer, and the email address of the employee, and join both the tables, that is customers and employees. So let me show you the command. So I'll write select c dot customer name, comma, then we have c dot phone, I'll give a space here. Next, I want the employee number from the employee table, so I'll write e dot employee number, comma, e dot email from customers as C, right join employees as E on e dot, my common key column is employee number here, so I'll write e dot employee number is equal to C dot, we have sales representatives employee number, and I'm also going to order it by the employee number column. Okay, so you can see I have my customer name selected from the customers table, the phone number of the customer, then we have the employee number and the email address. So let me run it. Okay, there's some problem. Alright, so the table name is customers actually. Let's run it once again. There you go. So you can see here we have all the values selected from our right table, which is the employees table. You can see right join employees, which means your employees table is to the right, and then we have the customer name and phone numbers of the customers from the customer table, which is actually your left table. So you have a few employee numbers such as 1002, there's 1056, which don't have any customer name or phone numbers. Okay, so there's another popular join which is very widely used in SQL, known as self joins. So self joins are used to join a table to itself. So in our database we have a table called employees. Let me show you the table first. Alright, so here you can see we have the employee number, the last name, the first name of the employee, we have the email ID, and here if you see we have a column called reports to. Now this you can think of as the manager column. So the way to read is, for example, for employee number 1056, the manager is 1002. So if you check for 1002, we have Dane Murphy. Then if I scroll down, let's say for employee number 1102, for employee number 1102, the manager is 1056. So here you can see who is at 1056. You have Mary Patterson. Similarly, if I scroll down, let's say for employee number 1188, we have the manager as 1143. Now if I check the table at 1143, we have Anthony Bow. So the employee Julie Firelli reports to Anthony Bow. Alright, now suppose you want to know who is the reporting manager for each employee. So for that you can use a self join. So let me show you how to join this employees table. I'll write select, and then I'm going to use a function called concat. Within brackets I'll start with my alias name, that is m dot, then I'll write last name. I'm going to concat last name followed by a comma, then I'll have my first name. I'll close this bracket, and then I'm going to give my alias name, let's say manager, comma. Next I'm going to concat the same last name and first name, and this time I'm going to use a separate alias, let's say E, which stands for employee. So I'll write E dot last name, comma, and within single quotes I'll give my comma, and then I'll write E dot first name. I'll close this bracket. I'll give an alias as, let's say, employee from, I'll write employees as E, inner join employees as M on M dot, I'll use my common key column as employee number, so I'll write M dot employee number is equal to E dot, here I'm going to use the reports to column, and then I'll order it by, let's say, manager. Okay, now let's run this. There you go. So you have your two columns as manager and employee. So for employee Louis Bonder, the manager is Gerard Bonder. Similarly, if I scroll down, you have there are multiple employees reporting to this particular manager. Similarly, we have our manager as Anthony Bow, and we have different employees who are reporting to this particular manager, and so on. Alright, now moving ahead. Now let's see what a full join is. So SQL full outer join statement returns all the rows when there is a match in either left or right table. Now you must remember that MySQL Workbench does not support full outer join by default, but there's a way to do it. So by default, this is how the syntax of full outer join looks like. Now this statement will work on other SQL databases like Microsoft SQL Server, but it won't work on MySQL Workbench. I'll show you the right way of using full outer join on MySQL Workbench. So to show full outer join, I'm going to first use a left join, and then we'll also use a right join, and finally we'll use a union operator. So the union operator is used to combine the result set of two or more select statements. So first of all, let me write C dot customer name. So for this example, I'm using the customer table and the order table, comma O dot order number. So I just want to know the customer name and the order number related to the customer. From, I have customers as C, left join, I'll write orders as O on C dot customer number is equal to O dot customer number. Let me just copy this, and after this I am going to use my union operator. So union operator is used to merge results from two or more tables. So basically this performs a vertical join. And next I am going to use my right join operation. So here instead of left join, I'll write right. Rest all looks fine. Let me just run it. There you go. So we have successfully run our full outer join operation. You can see we have the different customer names and the order that each customer had placed. Alright, so that brings us to the end of our demo session. So let me just run through whatever we did in this session. So first we created a database called SQL Joins. Then we created two tables like cricket and football. Then we had inserted a few rows to each of these tables. Then we used this table to learn about inner join. Next, we used a database called Classic Models. It had multiple tables, so we explored all of these tables like products, there was product lines, orders, customers and employees, and learned how to use inner join, left join, self join, right join, as well as full outer join.